Row 18, plot 20.
Let's get dangerous.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I just got done watching a super fun movie that was very nostalgic for me. Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2. This is the latest release from Warner Brothers Animation. And just really fun, really fantastic movie. It's an hour and 16 minutes. It's got a 6.9 star rating already on IMDb. So whatever. But the story goes like this. With the Justice League's sudden disappearance, Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen investigate the Hall of Justice, but are quickly chased out by a phantom, prompting them to call Mystery Incorporated for help. En route to Metropolis, the gang discover that the city is overrun by super villains as a result of the missing Justice League. After barely managing to escape the Daily Planet, they meet up with Lois and Jimmy, who proclaims Daphne as his girlfriend, despite her protests. They explain about the Phantom situation. As the gang tour the Hall of Justice, they meet Lex Luthor, Mercy Graves, and Lex's dog, Rex. Yes, that's correct. Rex Luthor. Mystery Incorporated teams up with Krypto the Superdog to investigate the disappearance of the Justice League. So, first of all, let's just talk about this cast. It's a huge cast. A lot of these voice actors extremely familiar. They've done these roles before. Frank Welker, Scooby-Doo, Gray Griffin as voiced Daphne Blake. Matthew Lillard is still doing Shaggy, which I think is fantastic, and it really, really does help because his voice has now become pretty iconic with Shaggy. Kate Micucci, I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm pretty sure I saw her on a late night talk show where they talked about her last name being Micucci. She's Velma Dinkley. I love her. She's a great comedian. If you don't know who Kate Micucci is, look her up. PJ Byrne plays a character named JB. Victoria Grace Mercy. Charles Halford is the voice of Lex Luthor, and perfect. Let's see, where did I leave off? Nolan North as the Joker. Tara Strong plays a character named Helen. And the list just goes on. There is a huge cast of characters in this. It is probably, you're going to hear me say multiple times, it was a very big eye candy situation for me. I didn't have a lot going into this movie as far as like high hopes because, honestly, a lot of the more recent Scooby-Doo animated stuff has just been, just okay. And, I'm aging out of the demographics for Scooby-Doo cartoons, maybe. But I'll tell you what, this started off with an opening sequence that made me think that they were going to use it as an end credit scene because it's just a bunch of montage clips and things of stuff from the movie. But it really did work, and the music's upbeat. It's got a fun, energetic atmosphere. The animation is the standard Scooby-Doo, Hanna-Barbera. Did I say Warner Brothers earlier? I think that's still Warner Brothers, right? Yeah, Warner Brothers bought up Hanna-Barbera, whatever. It wasn't Disney, but yeah, the look of the characters is all classic. And then when you mix in the Justice League, they kind of stayed kind of true to some of their looks, but still the Scooby-Doo cartooniness to it. It doesn't make sense, but if I'm showing pictures, you'll see what I'm saying. There's a lot of like audio Easter eggs as well. There's a lot of things. If you're an old school Super Friends or Challenge of the Super Friends, there's a ton of Easter eggs for those shows. So that was kind of like really deep Easter eggs, especially with just some sounds from all the Filmation old '60s cartoons and then into the Super Friends. That they used sounds that were intentional to bring back that nostalgic feel, and it did. Um, so the only thing about the appearance that for me is a weird thing, and it's a DC Warner Brothers thing. They make a lot of characters' eyes purple, and I don't understand like the purple eye color. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't take away, but I don't know why I notice it every time I see a character with purple eye color. So aside from all like just the eye candy Easter eggs, there's so much stuff because they're in the Hall of Justice for a good portion of this whole movie. So there's a ton of like that kind of Super Friends Easter eggs. Um, but there's also the jokes, the one-liners, and sight gags. I don't know. Like I sometimes when you're in just the right mood for a movie, like probably some of the dumbest stuff makes you laugh. That's kind of how I was when I watched this movie. I was just in a good mood, which is kind of rare lately. But there were so many things that just made me laugh. Just sight gags, stupid one-liners, stuff that was like kind of adult themed, but then there was just a bunch of silliness. So the movie does, unfortunately, though, toward the end, it just kind of does start to get a little tired. Like they could have probably cut a little bit out of this movie, but then it would have only been probably like a 1 hour Scooby-Doo episode. But the ending is a little anticlimactic, and like they do this good job at the beginning of introducing characters, and you're growing your pool of suspects. Who's the Phantom? Who's behind the Justice League's disappearance? Right. And then the payoff isn't like super good at the end. But that's a minor criticism because there was so much good in this movie that I was very happy that I watched it. 6.9, that's basically a 7-star rating out of 10, is pretty darn good. If you can catch this on digital, or if you just go buy it or whatever, it's definitely worth it if you're a Scooby-Doo fan or a Justice League Super Friends fan. It doesn't do a lot with the current state of Justice League. It's definitely meant to evoke the memories of the old Challenge of the Super Friends. It's very blatant that that is the intent. But if you've seen this or love Scooby-Doo, let me know in the comments down below. And keep checking back to the channel or check back on my other channel. Those links are in the description below. Hit the like and we'll see you all later.